On December 17, 1987, former Capcom producer and R&D head Keiji Inafune came up with a sketch of what became the face of the company, Mega Man, or Rockman if you're from Japan. Combining this adorable robot face with a weapon stealing mechanic and stage selecting option, unheard of during that period, a star was born. And with that, Capcom proceeded to milk the living daylights out of it until the end of time. One would assume that with the cancellation of its most anticipated spin-off, his off-kilter cameo in a recent fighting game, and the TGS 2012 debut of whatever the hell this is, that Capcom gives f*** all about the Blue Bomber. Ironic considering that the mascot was solely responsible for putting the conglomerate on the map. So I took it upon myself to tell you all what actually makes this series awesome that inspired a loyal, if very fiery fanbase. Think of this video as a good old tribute to all things Mega Man, as well as a public service to show Capcom that some of us still care about good Mega Man titles. Video feature? Get! Be honest, your mind was blown when A. You could pick which stages you can take on when you first plopped Mega Man 1 or 2 onto your NESs, and B. When you stole a robot's power from its exploded corpse and used it as part of your repertoire. These two elements were revolutionary for its time and it meant something. The choices to pick stages meant you can tackle them in any order and go back to previous levels you were stuck with. Enemies that seemed to obstruct you previously will then become pushovers once you manage to score a new weapon from a robot master. Replayability of such caliber within the confines of its linearity was unheard of in that particular day and age. Concerning boss weaknesses, the earlier games followed some semblance of logic, like bubbles snuffing fire and fire against wood, long before it sorta threw it out of the window. Each stage in the earlier Mega Man games brought you into its difficult platforming bits in small doses before throwing you off the deep end, all without resort to being cheap. Just replay the first 3 games and even the recent Mega Man 9 and you'll notice that you only died frequently in the second half of the stage because the levels mix up a particular stage gimmick to a point where it feels like a rug was pulled out swiftly from under you, resulting in a fantastical tumble to the ground because you weren't paying attention. Yes, the games are tough, but not unfairly so. From stage layouts with alternate paths, to how rudimentary each weapon and item plays a part in certain areas, the earlier Mega Man titles were designed with purpose, innovation, and a dash of tough love in mind. Just like the Mario and Sonic series, you can't stay relevant unless you have sequels and are daring enough to tread on new soil. The jump from Mega Man to Mega Man X for the Super Nintendo was done well because it introduced new mechanics that changes the pace of the methodical, run-and-gun gameplay in the previous NES titles. Mega Man X was beautiful, fast, and extreme, thankfully not in the typical 90s way. Mega Man X introduced the dash and wall climbing mechanic, adding more challenges and platforming bits from a vertical standpoint, at the very least making it more of a big deal than before. Players can also charge up the X-Buster for a stronger shot to take down foes, and use alternate fire for the boss weapons they stole from animal-themed bosses. Said weapons can also be charged up for additional effects and benefits. Yep, the developers probably had a Zoology encyclopedia handy to come up with Armored Armadillo, Neon Tiger, and Flame Hynard? Having armor parts and upgrades, as well as the ability to play as a close-range character in the case of Zero in Mega Man X3 and beyond, was what made the Mega Man X series a great spin-off that stuck to its platforming and weapon-stealing roots while keeping things fresh. Begs the question of why there was a Mega Man 7 on the Super Nintendo in the first place next to its superior and faster cousins. Capcom also succeeded in jumping into new territory for the Blue Bomber, like say an action-adventure genre with a targeting system that predated the Z targeting from that Legend of Zelda game on the N64, filled with memorable characters and open-world area rifled with secrets, and frantic combat against the game's enemies and large bosses. Sure can't wait to see what Capcom has in store for the third game. Oh, wait, right. Anywho, the developers also succeeded into changing up the Mega Man lore into a story-driven RPG with real-time grid-based mechanics where cards are consumed for power-ups. It was loads of fun until Capcom had the bright idea to follow Nintendo's method of marketing and selling the Pokemon games. Buy the blue one, no, buy the red one, no, get the bundle with the 0.5 at the end of the number, oh god. Of course, if you're a big franchise, it wouldn't hurt to turn to other avenues like sports, sport games, or go-karting with guns and huge customization options. For the most part, Capcom adapted to different formats and genres with the Blue Bomber just nicely without any compromise in quality. Well, at least before applying the milking machine, which eventually led to this. And this.
Oh no! He's gonna blast President Lincoln!
I knew you'd risk yourself for Mr. Lincoln.
Who could forget the 8-bit jingles of Mega Man 2's soundtrack? Why, almost the entire internet and cover bands like Proto Man and the Megas, of course. It's not really a big secret that the Japanese release of the game named the main characters after musical terms. Naturally, the developers put in as much effort to make the music as memorable as the stages itself. Just take a listen. Let's also not forget the tributes and remixes to the game's eclectic score like these. Going through the list of covers and remixes done by fans and musicians will take a bazillion years. If one series was noted for its jingles and sounds, it's definitely Mega Man. Just one look at the original concept artwork from Keiji Inafune and you think, aww, those bug eyes and lively animations were the standouts in a time when you had to squint your eyes to determine a hero or enemy's face or appendages. Whether you had to deal with a screen-filling boss or a minute killing machine, it's a sense of playfulness and cheer that emanates from even the most sinister of bosses that made gamers root for the boy in blue. Spin-offs like the Battle Network and Legends series still keep the same kind of cheeriness and bright color palettes in different ways. Even the morbid post-apocalyptic narrative of the X and Zero series retains some semblance of flash and color. A lot of effort went into making each bit and pixel of Mega Man and its allies/adversaries ooze out charm. Yes, that includes such oddities like Sheepman. The Mega Man dev team sure loved your Philip K. Dick books, huh? So that's our 2 cents on what actually made the Blue Bomber what he is today. Or, rather, was. To be fair, Capcom really isn't killing off the franchise in any way. According to Capcom US head Christian Svensson, it will continue to be a very important brand for us. I wish I had something I could hold and display for you that's the case, but I don't right now. But super important to us, I do want to express that. Mega Man Network fansite creator David Oxford said that the series is dear to him because they're still fun and filled with cool and charming personalities. Despite Mega Man Legend 3's cancellation, he still sees relevance in the series after for so long. The Mega Man franchise has proven over the years that it can take on many different forms and change with the times while remaining true to its roots. And while I think Legends was ahead of its time in some ways, and would probably be better suited for today's market than the one it was introduced to, I think Capcom is just trying to figure out where it needs to go now. People talk either in fear or in jest about Mega Man becoming a first-person shooter or adhering to some other popular gaming style. But the series' influences seem to come more from anime and manga, though one might argue Battle Network took from both. I think the question right now may be in what anime/manga Capcom can look to now that might appeal to today's audience. That is, if they were to launch a new Mega Man series. Do you think Capcom will surprise us with something Mega Man related in the year 2013 and beyond? Or do you think the company is blowing a lot of hot air? What are your favorite moments and games in the franchise's history? As ever, tell us your pleasantries and vitriol at the comments box below. With that said, cheers And may the fight for everlasting peace continue.